every company is creating the JD using AI. Every candidate is creating resumes using AI. What's happening because of it is when companies filter out the candidates, send them to the internal interviews, they see that he doesn't have any idea about what he has written in the resume. And we have seen that companies come to us and tell that, what was this candidate all about? He has completely different resume and we are asking very basic questions from the resume they are not able to answer. Why you are getting 200 application or 500 or 1000? Because you are maybe posting out a very generic role. You are not specific with respect to JD you are put in, or you are asking or you are hiring for a very early stage role. And that's what I want to put out AI interviews for.
I know you did an exercise of roast my product on ChatGPT. Did you find that it was spot on, or how was your experience?
No, it was lovely in fact. So
welcome to the Sandbox Show. I'm Neha Nadigar. Today we have with us Akshat. Welcome, Akshat.
thank you.
You started with IIT Dharwad. You started a startup from your hostel room called Unbook. Then you went into FinTech space. Then you went into hiring. You've done a couple of things, and now you're with Spleen. You're the co-founder of Spleen. So let's do a little bit of a different kind of an intro. Give us a 60-second elevator pitch of what Spleen does.
So hi everyone, I'm Akshat. I'm CEO and co-founder of Spleen AI. At Spleen, we help companies, startups, funded startups, as well as enterprise help hire candidates. But in that, very specifically, we help them first search out of 11 crore profiles, which we have, find the relevant people, reach out to them automatically and get them to apply in your role. Once they apply, we take them through evaluation criteria, which we have, which is resume review and AI interviews, so that you find the right fit. We just work with B2B, work in the B2B space. And yeah, I think that would be it about us.
Okay, very interesting space because it's one of the toughest in the market to crack, even in terms of busyness and in terms of the nuances that are there, especially involving people. One of the most overlooked parts of the ecosystem and toughest complex part of the ecosystem as well.
I agree.
But I just want to go a notch back. Anyone from IIT doing in FinTech in companies like Frio and Money, why would you leave FinTech, which is perceived to be such a hot take and a hot cake always, and do something in hiring which is so difficult to crack and absolutely no guarantee if it will work or not?
Yeah. So very interesting. So when I was working in FinTech, I used to observe a lot of interviews, used to even be part of a lot of interviews, and saw that there was a huge gap between what fintechs, or let's say not fintechs in general, what startups were looking for and the kind of candidates which used to apply. And interview, let's say I'm taking, let's say on my team, let's say anyone is taking, let's say 10 to 12 interviews, there are hardly 1 or 2 fits in that 12 interviews. So now as a company, you are wasting your developers or product managers 12 hours in a week and trying to get one candidate filtered out who maybe is not going to perform good in the next interviews. So that's the problem it started with. Then meanwhile, what I started doing is helping few of the companies find the relevant product managers, because I was really active on the product management space. I was even on TopMate teaching people how to do product management. And from there, I helped a lot of startups close their product management and understood how this space is performing, what kind of candidates are these companies looking for. And that led me to start Spleen, get into the hiring space full-time and then building it. So that has been the journey for me.
You, after Ind Money and Frio, you were product managers there in FinTech companies. And as you rightly pointed out on what was the context for it, you did not directly say, hey, I'm going to build Spleen.
Yeah.
You did a stint of probably almost a year and a half, trying to understand the hiring space for product, hiring space for tech in general, and try to understand what's broken, what is the issue, what's not working, why are this attrition rates so high for tech companies. Why do you think tech hiring is so broken even now?
So when I was doing consultancy, I parallelly built a product which was called Pagad AI.
Pagad, okay.
Yeah. So what we are trying to do in Pagad was we scraped data, openings you'd say. We accumulated openings from different resources and we used to put it on a single app. And candidate used to come and find jobs there. And what happened is within 4 months, we reached 40,000 users on the platform.
Okay.
But what we saw is there is a huge difference between how hiring happens in, let's say, US and how hiring happens in India. So let's say in US, if you are hiring for a software developer, the salary starts anywhere from $60,000 to $80,000, ends up at $120,000.
Yeah.
So lowest salary to highest salary is 2x, 60 to 120.
There's a defined range.
Defined range. But when you talk about India, and this is something which I recently posted. So if you talk about India, it starts at 4 lakh rupees, ends up at even companies, they're giving 30, 32 lakhs for the SD1 roles. So it's like 8x difference. And that's the same thing we observed even with that 40,000 segment. So in that 40,000, if you try to segment candidates, let's say salary range and everything around that, we are hardly able to segment someone in and get a 2,000 candidate segment pool. And if a company is coming to me and they're trying to search a candidate for very specific skills, they'll hardly get 100 people, 50 people, right? From our pool. And that's why companies like Naukris may be working, because they have pool of 5 crore in which if you try to find out, you will be able to get 1,000 people in the particular segment you're looking for.
So volume is not the problem. People are there,
Correct.
All kind of platforms function because people are looking frantically everywhere.
Correct.
But when you try to zero down on who is working for my company, the number is still very low.
It's very low. If you talk about a single role of, let's say, someone you are looking into with a 12 lakh salary, Angular guy who I want a software developer with Angular as an experience. Now, there's so many other nuances to it. What's the location? What's the notice period? Yeah. Like, what's the basically, you'd say, past companies they have worked in? Are they MNC or startups? What's the tier of college they come from? And there's so many things which companies take into account that it's actually a very difficult problem statement out of India. Even the companies have very different expectations with respect to every single candidate out there. So, and that is why this is such a different problem statement and a difficult problem statement. And that's why I started shifting from candidate side to solving for the company's side. So that first I understand what's the expectation from the company's end. And once I have worked with, let's say, 50, 100 roles and have helped them hire for that, I know what kind of knowledge or GAN I have to pass it on to the candidate and what kind of product I have to build for them.
So do you think that a complete shift in the approach of I'm not going to build for users to come in and search and have like a LinkedIn sort of a thing for you to search jobs, but I'll go to the company, try to understand that, build a system around expectations so that this demand supply gap is done in a much better way. But today, product heads or recruiters, where do they traditionally go and search and have success? Which of these couple of platforms, say LinkedIn or something, Naukri, where do you see highest traction, highest success rates today? Again, this is divided into two segments. There are user-facing companies like if you talk about Cred, if you talk about IND Money, these are user-facing known companies. Candidates want to be part of it because they know about it. On the other hand, they're really good companies, but they're not user-facing, like Browser Stack. These are working with B2B clients. Not a lot of people know about them. So both have different approaches. If you talk about a user-facing company which is famous, they're getting inbound a lot of candidates. So even if their HRs are posting it on LinkedIn, they'll get a lot of candidates who's applying back. So there the problem is not with respect to finding the candidate, it's with respect to evaluating the candidate. Right? So LinkedIn works for them very easily. But if you talk about the other side of the companies, and the other side is also the majority of companies in India, wherein they have to go through a lot of platforms. They'll have to try out a lot of platforms. So let's say if someone is looking for premium roles, they'll go to platforms like IAM Jobs. They'll go to LinkedIn. But let's say if someone is looking for, I would say not exactly like less premium roles, or let's say not user-facing, product-facing roles, then there are platforms like Naukri, which has more of a user base around that. So there's a segment to whom you're trying to hire. But again, what companies we work with, generally Naukris, LinkedIn's, Cutshots of the world are helping them out. You said you have 11 crore data. I don't want to get into the specifics of it. But there is a myth even now, or probably is a myth or not, you can help us bust it.
Yeah.
There are not enough jobs in the market.
Yeah.
Is it true?
So today, for us all, like in fact for us, we have around the companies, we are working with very limited number of companies, but we have more than 60 roles live. And we are not able to find the right candidate. So the problem is not with respect to the roles out there, it's with respect to the relevant skills, which is not there in the market. And that's why it's a notion in the market. I agree that maybe the market, the macroeconomic factors change with time, wherein jobs are actually less. But I feel it's more of finding the relevant fit candidate, or candidate having that relevant, skills, which can help them find the exact job. So today, let's say if you talk about roles, a lot of ML roles, data science roles, AI, everything is now AI engineer, AI PM roles are getting out in the market. And that requires a separate segment of skill set.
Yeah.
So if you're not ready for that change, if you're not as a candidate ready to acquire those skills, the job market is always going to be not that great for you.
But a lot of JDs also, right? They're like huge now with just AI pasted on traditional job roles and probably given to ChatGPT saying generate a JD for me, which is like AI native company that we are, and then all that. Is there some value that you see when these AI roles are put out in the new sort of market that's coming up with the wave? Is there anything different than what they ask for than the traditional roles?
So I think, again, it depends on company wise. At a lot of companies, AI is they're just trying to somehow force fit AI into their workflows and saying that I'm hiring for an engineer. But in some companies, they're actually doing really good steps towards it. So for example, one of the company which we are helping them hire AI engineer for, so they have a very strict rule that I only want people who can create MVPs from the products, MVPs of the products they're trying to launch in the company. So today, if you're a PM in my company, I want you to create an MVP first, showcase to the team that how the product is going to work, and then team is going to start the development.
Fair.
And that is only possible if you're actually an AI PM, not exactly knowing the coding and doing the stuff, but you know AI tools to get your things done. So that is one of the things. But yes, if it comes to bigger corporation and MNCs, I think they're still behind in the race of getting getting AI products adopted in their organization. That's why they're not putting out such roles as of now, at least.
Okay.
But yeah, with startups, I see the change happening, and they have cleared out what kind of expectations they have with respect to their AI engineers.
Cool. So we now saw that it exists. It's just how well the company is with catching up with AI and how well they articulate. I think it's about knowing what you want, then finding a fit.
Yeah.
In that terms, a lot of people are also with the new AI way, getting into PM has become way more easier now, because as you said, there are a set of skill set that you can acquire and show your talent in real time. You want to have MVP? I know how these tools work, and I can show you that if they have good product sense, product thinking, obviously, of course. So when you see roles like aspirational PMs, like APMs or senior PMs, what are those 2-3 things that hiring managers look for a must in, say, aspirational PMs, and senior PMs? Give us top 3 in both categories.
Got it. So if you talk about aspirational PMs, or maybe APMs, which you call in the market, associate PMs, when you just start with. So with APMs, I think the most important thing which companies look for on very top, I could think of, is what kind of projects you have worked on. Because again, you're right out of college or maybe right out of your MBA, but generally now even BTechs companies have been approaching BTech guys. So very important that what are the interns you have done in the college, and what are the projects you have worked on, and if somehow that project is related to the domain the company has worked on.
Okay, got it.
That's one. With respect to PMs, companies who directly hire for PMs are generally the IM grads. So they also look for the past companies they have worked in. And again, with PM, what's important is, have you worked in, let's say, consultancy? You should have a knowledge of domain knowledge, and you should have also some knowledge around how to build product. hands-on product. Maybe you have done it yourself, you have built a startup, something around that, or some project for 5-6 months during the college time of MBA time. That's something which you have seen. And finally, if you talk about SPMs, when you're switching to that requires a very deep domain knowledge. So that's something which I have also told a lot of people who were looking for SPM roles, is that don't be generic now. Now, PM has been divided into very interesting facts. Like, you could be data PM.
Yeah.
You could be design PM. You could be product marketing manager.
Right.
So marketing PM.
And then there's AI PM.
AI PM.
And then
so AI
there's
PM
growth
again,
PM.
Growth PM, exactly. And these, you can divide yourself into one of these. Analytics PM, data PM, marketing PM,
right.
and things around that. So that, let's say, you cannot now go to a company and say that, hey, I want to be PM. You'll have to be good in design, or you'll have to be very good in SQL data, or you'll have to be very good in marketing. You'll have to take up one or the other skill set to make sure that you land a job. So that's something I feel is important when you're trying to switch into SPM. And again, the domain knowledge is again the must for any.
Listening to everything that you're saying, sort of somewhat feels like the traditional resume that we have for PM is just dying. It's no longer relevant.
No, so it's anyways dying. So I, no, and it's not why I'm saying this is because today the biggest problem for any company is that when they get a resume, every resume sounds and feels like the perfect resume.
Yeah,
because
AI resume.
Everyone is using the AI. As you said some time back that every company is creating the JD using AI. Every candidate is creating resumes using AI. What's happening because of it is that when companies filter out the candidates, send them to the internal interviews, they see that he doesn't have any idea about what he has written in the resume. And we have seen that. Companies come to us and tell that, what was this candidate all about? He has completely different resume, and we are asking very basic questions from the resume they are not able to answer. So anyways, the resume is just going away in next few years, and only projects and what you have hands-on done would be something which people will consider. And when that also comes in, the second layer of it will start, wherein the something which you have built, how you can market it well.
Right.
Or something you have built, have you done some amount of coding by your by hands-on coding has been done or not?
Correct.
So in the next 6 months or maybe a year, this is anyways going to change.
Yeah, I think we are moving away from this matching of 8 years of fluff to fluff that's happening now. AI generated resume fluff and AI generated JD fluff, and beyond that, you hardly find any value for it.
Correct.
So that completely makes sense. Is that one problem statement you're solving through Spleen with many others?
There are a lot of problem statement could be solved around this, but we are trying to solve it in one way. And that is what this entire AI interview market has been coming in. But there are again a lot of nuances to that also. You cannot apply AI interviews to any roles above 7 years of experience, because experienced people don't want to get onto interviews, right? But till 7 years, how can you solve it? Then we are introducing basically a cursor-like environment in that interview, so that you can just prompt out and create some problem statement or solve problem statement out of it to understand. So for companies to understand that, do you know how to prompt write things? Do you know how to solve a project in 30 minutes?
So got it. From resume level, you're coming into the interview section in itself.
Correct.
Saying, okay, when a good candidate comes into your interview, how do you sort of set up assignments for them? How do you gauge them? How do you interview them?
Correct.
So you're solving that as well.
It's more hands-on rather than.
And it's also
more
a direct
theoretical.
testament, right? If I can prompt out a new problem statement altogether, and it's about how the candidate is really able to see it and solve it right there.
Yeah.
So is that a problem statement you saw when hiring managers said, hey, a lot of assignments are get rehearsed, or the same kind of, because it happens even now when you do take home assignments, everybody puts it on ChatGPT.
Yeah.
And like, how many different answers would you get? And
Correct.
people hardly take any time to tweak it and put their own flavors and say, hey, I am different with this assignment because of ABC. I have heard in my own circles that it's very hard for hiring managers to differentiate them because everything looks same.
Exactly. And that's why, see, again, few things you want as a company to put so that there's a good recruitment culture, that I want to do X number of interviews or X number of assignments. But few things you do because that's the need of the hour. Need of the hour today is your PMs or your engineers should should be able to code out or hands-on do stuff.
Right.
They should be able to talk to AI tools out there. And that can only be possible if you test them out.
Correct.
Today, if we even talk about the project segment, the biggest problem with the projects, let's say college projects, is that everyone has taken it from a YouTube video, right? So, I mean, every project, some or the other way, you'll find it somewhere, and they have forked the code and then created a project out of it. So, how do you test them? How do you test a APM? How do you test a software developer one? That's the only way, I guess. And even in the interviews, human interviews, it has traditionally been done that you ask low-level design questions. Why not get it done by AI now? Because that is a straightforward thing. But again, if you want to go deeper into understanding person, that's where the internal interview starts coming.
Right. So with Spleen, I understand it's starting out as a co-pilot and not a full-fledged platform.
Yeah.
Is it a roadmap decision or is it a strategic decision saying I'll start with a co-pilot, probably extend it to a platform?
Yeah.
Take us through that.
So I'll just give you a brief of what co-pilot means according to me. So co-pilot means that it's working hand in hand with one segment of the market who likes the product.
Okay.
In our case, this is a co-pilot for HRs and recruiters. But why we started as a co-pilot is, first of all, we wanted to clarify with our product that we are not here to replace anyone.
Right.
It's co-pilot means it's helping you out with your daily job and making your manual work automated. That's the first thing. But if you also talk about the market in general, so today, if any new startup is coming in, it's not possible for you without hell lot of money to get to an enterprise level, like start right with CXO, talk to them and then introduce your product inside the organization, right? You as a startup cannot do that.
Right.
So what you do is create such a dumbed down product for anyone. It's not just for HRs, it's not just for even developers also. There are a lot of product which is getting pushed. So if you talk about Cursor, Cursor's playbook told that we want to make such a product that developers go out and talk to their engineering teams that I want to use this product. And that's what happened. It went from bottoms up.
Yeah.
And that's what we are also trying to do. Because today, if you want to succeed, you want to make such a dumbed down, easy product for the lowest level who is actually going to use it, that they go out and tell their management that, hey, I'm using Spleen. Why don't you introduce this org wide so that everyone can use it? And that's the only goal with respect to what we are trying to do. We don't want to tell that we are an enterprise product. We are obviously every product which is trying to build is want to be enterprise product. But we want to be a co-pilot at the start. First, we want to solve the problem for who we are building it for, and they'll be our spokesperson going on.
That's such an interesting take, because you try to solve big and then you forget all the user flows, experience, all the messy parts in the very beginning, and then it's a much, much bigger problem to solve. So with Copilot, one thing you're doing is showing out the value very clearly for it to move up the ladder in the company as well and as a word of mouth. Second is, when you work so closely hand in hand, I think it's very easy to understand the friction points, the nuances of what is the user really wanting to do versus what we are building. What else is a workflow which is so important that we have missed, or so unimportant that we have.
Exactly.
All of those are like really early points for you to build on and make it an enterprise level grade platform going forward as well. Today, when people use Copilot, what are those one or two friction points that you see? Hey, I need a tutorial to understand this, or can you handhold me through this? I don't know what's the exact value of it. So something of a product view of when you built it out as a co-pilot. What are you seeing today?
Yeah. So first of all, I'm very fortunate that I got to work as a PM.
Yeah.
Because from going from PM to a founder and being a founder where software as a product was my biggest, that's what I'm trying to sell, software as a product. It helped me a lot build my flows. So the biggest thing which you asked for, like the biggest thing which today's generation is looking for is, number one, how good the user experience is. They don't want shitty design. They don't want to wait for loaders to complete their loading. They want quick experience, really good user experience first. Second is, your platform should be super easy to use. You'll think that this is very obvious because you are building it. But when you go out and talk to people, you'll understand they don't even see the button which is out there on the screen upfront. In fact, for us, we always used to say that we are building Spleen as the most easiest platform to use. last to last month, basically in the month of January, I spent my entire month doing one-on-one research with hiring managers, HRs, and recruiters. And what I observed is that my product was nowhere close to being a simple, easy product to glide through. And that 1 month of research, and I was a PM. I used to think that I'm best at what I'm doing. You cracked it. I cracked it. My product is going to be the best product in the world. But that's not the case. You'll have to keep on dumbing it down to an extent that's super easy for them to use.
Yeah.
I did a version after that. In February, I launched a version. Last week, I was checking with few of the hiring HRs out there. Again, there were a few new problems which was creeping in, which they were not able to understand. And that's how you do. So that's the second part, which is so it's the third part. So many iterations you do that your product becomes simpler and simpler for the companies or anyone who's trying to use. I would say these are the biggest things which you should do when you're building something in the...
And velocity is insane, because I remember seeing your post where you said you logged in like 200 bugs and then with every screenshot saying, hey, this is the user, like a proper how a QA would give me if my PBI is all over the place, saying like, hey, this workflow is not working because of A, B, C.
Yeah.
So iteration with velocity, that speed is also really important.
I think speed is, why I don't generally nowadays say speed is because that's the basic thing. That's the bare minimum if you're building a startup.
Yeah.
If you're not going at insane speed with respect to what you're building, you're anyways not gonna be able to do it.
Yeah.
I'm really sorry to say that, but that's something which I have seen with even what I was building in the past, like 3 years back, 2 years back. I've constantly been building product. And whenever I'm slow with respect to what I'm building, I'm getting behind somewhere.
You've missed out the window.
Yeah. And you get a very small window to crack and get into something. So today, most of the companies, we are working with literally unicorns out there. The biggest thing with unicorns is, why will they use us? They only use us because when they put up a bug today, after 3 hours, it's solved by my team and it's posted back to them that it's solved. You can now use it.
SLA compliance adherence is no longer an afterthought. It's your first touch. It speaks for the quality of the product in itself.
Yes, quality of the product as well as the team. How obsessed they are with the problem.
Yeah. You spoke quite a few bit about what's working, what's not working. I know you did an exercise of roast my product on ChatGPT.
Yeah.
There's one more instance that I want to talk about. We'll get to it. But when you did that, did you find that it was spot on or
no? So
how was your experience?
No. It was lovely, in fact. So I do it really often. So not only ChatGPT, I also do it with real humans on Reddit. Fun community. But yeah, so for me, the biggest or the best way to find feedbacks nowadays, obviously it's human, but you have to spend an hour sitting with a human and understanding what they're thinking of. But just post it on ChatGPT. Post it out on Claude that roast my product. This is my screen. I've given a screenshot of a screen. What do you think is not working for an HR?
Yeah.
What do you think no one will be understanding in this screen? And just solve it for them. And that's the easiest way you can start improving your product, whichever product you have built. These AI platforms are really good at roasting if you put the right prompt.
Yeah, right. Yeah. With the right context and what you want to achieve out of it. It's really helpful.
Exactly. I have a complete thread where it's completely just roast me. So even if I'm putting a new iteration of website, I'll put it there. New screen, I'll put it there. And I'm just going to ask
tell us one or two things where you feel like, damn, like this, I didn't expect it.
Yeah. So recently, I'll tell you about something which I was maintaining for 3 months. So on our platform, we made it like a complete login. Anyone can log in now. And we did it like 1.5 months back. And we saw that a lot of engineers were getting onto the platform. And our website was live for 3 months, 4 months now. Like, we are 5 months old startup. And ChatGPT always used to roast me that what is this header? So what our header was, job board, sell noise. We give you the actual fit. And ChatGPT always used to tell me that what is this header? Who is this for? HRs or candidates? And I was always like, fuck it. I don't have to be focused on that. It's for HRs. Everybody knows. I am speaking on LinkedIn about HRs. But then when I actually made login live, out of 20 people who were logging in on the platform organically every day, 19 were engineers.
Oh, damn.
And all PMs. And then I actually understood that, hey, the GPT was not wrong. It's actually confusing. Job boards sell noise. How do I know as a candidate, it's who's this for? So I changed it to source from X number of candidates. And now I only get 3 logins a day or 4 logins a day organically. And these are actually HRs or recruiters who are looking for it. So that's how it has changed, you'd say. See, it is actually really impactful, at least for me.
How was your Reddit experience? I'm sure you would have got some bombastic feedbacks from there.
So I love Reddit, to be frank. I'm active on Reddit with respect to very different stuff. So when I post on Reddit, what I try to do is, let's say if I want to plug Spleen somewhere, so I'll write, I'm an HR. This weekend I was trying this platform Spleen AI. And it was such a bad experience to have. What are these platforms doing today? Right? And once you roast someone, the natural tendency of any person is to go out and see how bad it is.
Yeah.
Right? Because if you hear about a bad video, like not that great, like a funny experience or some shitty video, you always want to see what's happening there. Yeah. So I get like 50, 60 logins just because of that post. And then people come back and roast. This is what I didn't like, this is what I didn't like, this is what I didn't like. And that's such a good way to help your product grow. One thing as a founder, I've learned that you don't have to take anything personally.
Yeah.
Everyone is just trying to, they have done their 7-8 hours of work daily. They come on social media and they want to roast out on someone. And like few of the posts I did on Reddit, which did really crazy well. So few of the competitors for us are in US. So what we do is, I tried out X/Spleen/X, where X and Y are very famous.
And so big enterprise.
Very big enterprise. And between that, Spleen is there. Then people are like, what is Spleen?
What is this?
What is this? And few are like, oh yeah, Spleen is really good. And I'm like, inka login bhi hai ki nahi? But then you get a lot of eyeballs. Like you get a lot of people talking about you, what they're thinking. And sometimes I directly post it out that this is the screen I've built. This is the website I have, please roast it. And wow, what a comment you'll get.
Yeah, like easiest feedback loop, I feel. And of course, everything you have to take with a pinch of salt and really evaluate if it's in your strategy that way or not.
Correct. Because, I mean, you cannot do this on LinkedIn. It's just not possible. Where LinkedIn, everyone is trying to be very helpful.
And very polished.
Very polished. And even if you go out and look at the comments which I do on people's posts, sometimes I'm very ruthless with respect to the feedbacks I gave. Not with respect to demotivating someone, with actually respect to helping them out with what they're trying to build. And that's something which is missing on LinkedIn, but it's really good on Reddit. And Twitter is for some other segment only, though I'm not that active there. But
my takeaway from here is if you want polished, very strategic insights, go to LinkedIn. Probably some of your good well-wishers will help you get reach and eyeballs. But if you want brutal advice, go to Reddit.
Yes, and that's also an art, how you present. Because Reddit, people will not directly start using your product and then roast it out. So you'll have to somehow get into their nerves and then take that feedback out of them. So it's a great community.
You said a part of it was you build AI interviews as well. I mean, I am a bit on a fence on that. I love human interaction and I anyway would prefer a human in front of me because probably I'm able to understand their temperament, do some small talk and set up myself to success. Do you hear that feedback from others as well, or do you feel no, AI doesn't really bog down and is actually an efficiency tool?
No, I agree with what you said. I agree with every single feedbacks which AI interviews get with respect to I don't want to be part of the interviews. But again, there are a lot of nuances there. Now, as we discussed some time back, that if the resumes are polished enough that you cannot find the difference, you need a way to filter out candidates.
Right.
Not every time, let's say if you're getting 200 applications, all looks great on paper. You cannot have a human who is going to take the interviews for you. And hence, it's very important then if you're getting, and why you're getting 200 applications or 500 or 1000? Because you are maybe posting out a very generic role. You're not specific with respect to JD you are put in. Or you're asking or you're hiring for a very early stage role. Like under 7 to 8 years of experience. And that's what I want to put out AI interviews
For.
I tell companies, if someone comes to me and says, I am hiring for a 12-year engineer, can we use AI? I say no. Even though I'm making money there, I'm saying no, you should not. Your brand value is going to decrease because of it.
Right.
Because your people are coming to you because of the brand you have built, and interviews are going to deteriorate that for you. But for an 8-year experience, till 7 to 8 years, people can come onto the role and give it for you. Unless your interview experience is not that great, then people will be bad. And for me, the saddest part out there is that there are companies, well-established enterprises as well as startups giving mediocre product to the candidates out there. And this frustration, even with the candidates below 7 years of experience, is legit. Yeah. I go out, talk to so many people on Reddit with respect to the experience which they are getting in the AI interviews. For me, that was the biggest problem statement. That I want to build such a good experience that candidates come out and say that, wow, I love the experience, even though I get selected or not.
Yeah.
In fact, that's something which happened with us. Our interviews today is so human, so conversational, and ask such deeper questions that candidate take some or the other thing out of it. And the best part, after the interview gets over, companies can even release a complete report of how candidate performed, where they were not that great, and they can post it or send it to candidates.
That's so true.
Which is again missing. The feedback cycle is missing.
Listening to the amount of effort it is taking you to build this system and being so capital intensive and a competitive market, are you choosing bootstrap route to scale this, or are you choosing venture route?
So we chose bootstrap route for the first 9 to 10 months of our journey, specifically because we first wanted to very deeply understand the problem and build a product which we feel is working for the companies. That's what we chose as the first 9 to 10 months. But we closed our funding round recently from an angel investor to basically fast track this process. Why fast track? Because today you need great engineers to build a great product. So that's the first thing which we are looking for, that we want to get people in-house who can be full-time onto building this. Yes, I am an engineer, my 2 of the co-founders are engineers, but 3 hands are not enough to build a product you're, let's say, building for enterprise.
Yeah.
And the second thing is, in India, if you're building a product specific to India, they want to use it for a significant amount of time for free.
Yeah.
And for that, because if your entire product is on AI, you'll have to have some capital to make that happen. Because even if they're using it for 10-15 days, there's a lot of cost involved in that. And that cost is recovered, though, when they, obviously very easily recovered when they convert to a paying client. But then for that, you need that resources to be ready with.
When you say you want to make it free, you have 2 sets of users. You have 2 models that are coming in. One is from the HR side and from the user side. You want to make it free for the user and charge your startups. That's how it is?
No, so HR side even. Okay. So even if today a company comes to us and says, I want to use the tool, but I want to use it for at least 14 days. Now, even if a company is using it for 14 days and you have the entire LLM or the data behind it, they'll be obviously using it very deeply to understand your product. And that 14 days also cost, as a startup so small as us, a lot of money. And for that, you need resources. And let's say today, if 5 HRs are coming daily and asking us for using it for 14 days. So it's like 14 into 5 is like 70 people who's using your product.
Yeah.
How do you
manage that?
How do you manage that? How do you manage your resources? And that's where you require funds to make
Even
sure.
with your AI products, you have to think about tokenization. You have to think about pings. You have to think about efficiency. Then you have to think about your costs that anyway you're paying out of your pocket anyways.
Exactly.
Okay.
I mean, till now what we are doing is, I worked in the industry for 3 years. I saved some amount and we were pouring that in. And any startup founder will have to do the same.
Yeah.
But there comes a time when your product is working well, you have good clients on the board, and now you want to scale. You want to make products faster. You want people in the team, and that's what funds is for.
Any established company usually, since we are all product folks, will be like, there's a roadmap that you do, and then prioritization, and then trade-offs.
Exactly.
But then you're pretty new that way. But you've cracked your 0 to 1 fit.
Yeah.
What are some potential problems or opportunities that you are anticipating, which is forming your 12-month roadmap for Spleen now?
So first of all, we are nowhere close to 0 to 1 over. I think 0 to 0.1 is we have covered, not even 0.1.
This is a new term for me, 0 to 0.1.
Yeah, so most of the startups as of today which is building is in 0 to 0.1. 0 to 1 means you have a very established base, PMF is achieved, and now you have to go from 1 to 100.
You're still in the PMF stage.
Yes, I think funding is not the stamp that you have achieved PMF when a product is working well in the market. In fact, every day hundreds of products in your same space will be coming up, right?
And funded too.
So it's not possible that you can say that I've got PMF. In fact, again, even if you think you have got PMF, in next 3 months that's going to be gone.
Yeah.
The biggest of the biggest companies are also trying to find out the PMF, right? I mean, so that's the first thing. If you talk about my 12-month roadmap, or you'd say the most important thing which I'm trying to target in this 12 months is how I can make sure that my compliance is in line. Because if I'm working with the best companies in the world, I need to make sure that their data is safe. And compliance is the biggest thing. And it's a complex thing in India.
Yeah.
If you're solving a compliance as a startup founder who doesn't know anything about it, it's a complex thing. That's something which we're trying to make sure that we solve for. Second, I'm personally trying to hire the best team again in India so that I can build the best product out. And third would be iterate on the product. Iterate and make it so simple that HRs who are not the best or not the most tech savvy people in the space use it and they're like, wow, I love this product. And for achieving that, I don't think I have achieved that. And I don't think it's that easy for any product building in HRTech space to achieve it. So that's my 3 top things which I'm focusing on to define.
Any tool or any competition that you have within your, since you said you want to crack it for the Indian ecosystem first, because you manage diversity and nuances here, it becomes much easier to scale globally as well. Any tool or any competitor that you have for Spleen which is seriously doing well and you're looking out for them?
That's difficult if you talk about Indian audience. Personally, the problem with Indian companies in this space is they are making products as another, you'd say, licensing product. Like, I'll have 10 seats from this company and I'll earn more.
Yeah, like all the other products function.
Yeah, but I don't want to make it like a seat-based product. I want to make it actually like a product which, with 1 seat, entire team can use it. It should solve the problem which is out there. Make it simple so simple for the companies that they're easily able to use it. And for me, as of now, I don't see an HR product out of India doing that well. Naukri is obviously one of the people in the space, but there are few segments of Naukri. So one of them is IM Jobs, which is a Naukri acquired product. It's really good with respect to the kind of database they have created. Exportia AI is one of the companies whose founders I have known, and they are doing really good with respect to segment they are working in. One of our closest competitors is also Weekday. They have some or the other way solve this market, but I still feel there are a lot of problems with their product, and that's something which is solved in Spleen. But I have great Spleen has great competitors out there in US, beautiful products and very thoughtfully built, and I think they are the biggest competitor when it comes to Spleen scaling globally. But the best part about India is these companies will never be able to replicate the problem statement which is out there in India and which we are trying to solve for. So
that makes sense. So you have clearly figured out that the nuances are around scale, data, how you differentiate, and then what you're specifically solving for is, instead of you having a company having a team of people who use the product and then be efficient, you're trying to make 1 seat or 1 bot or 1 tool do so many diverse activities that it just acts as a daily, day-to-day on.
Exactly. I mean, in India, one of the biggest problems which I see is with respect to hiring is, so let's say if you talk about hiring, there is first sourcing where you find the candidate, second is managing the candidate, and the third is evaluating. So if we talk about sourcing, there are tons of platforms who have built their own database. The problem with this is, what we are trying to do is, we are not creating our own database. We are trying to reach out to the best people out there on the email and WhatsApp. So we are reaching out to the passive pool of candidates and trying to convert them to applying the job. What happens in this case? Today, if you are putting out a Naukri, a candidate is applying, the same candidate is applying on 5 other places. And if it's good for your company, they'll be good for 5 others. So they'll start offer shopping. right? But if you talk about product where you are reaching out, you're reaching out to a passive candidate who was not looking out. And if that candidate is really good, obviously you have done the searches on a platform, you have put the basically filters and everything, and then you got that candidate. If that gets converted, he's not going to offer shop. So again, your 1 month to 2 month time wasted after sending him the job offer and everything is saved. That's the one part. So in India, first, the approach of sourcing is very different. That's why there's no competitor directly. But you talk about evaluation, which is AI interviews and all, there are tons of platforms.
Got it.
I'm not going to take a particular name there because there are a lot of people who is trying to solve for it. But what Spleen is trying to do is solve the entire segment of hiring. We don't want to do one part of it or the second part of it.
Got it.
So that's the biggest difference. Yeah.
We'll talk about one success story,
Sure.
one Spleen hire for any client of yours
Yes.
that you're proud of, and it's like, this worked absolutely as I intended it to work for the platform.
Perfect. So one of the unicorns whom we are working with, I'll not name it obviously, they were closing out on a network engineer role.
Okay.
Very different kind of a role which you talk about. And they were doing this, they're trying to find this network engineer role for 3 months.
Okay.
3.5 months. Okay. And they took around more than internal interviews of around 25 interviews for just particular role. They were not able to close it. And biggest problem with them was they were posting it on LinkedIn. They're getting application. From there, they were looking into the candidates. What we told them is, because they were not ready to, obviously, big companies will not be using product for us, a product like us directly. So what we told them, that give us the JD. We'll find the right people and pass it on to you.
Okay.
We used the product, found out the people. We evaluated 5 candidates and gave them the candidates within 4 days. And we left there. Around 1.5 months back, post that, they came back to us and said, Akshat, we have closed one of the roles, one of the candidates out of those 5. And they are now about to become our customers.
That's
right?
great.
So we have started the pilot with them. Because till now, this time we were using the product ourselves. Now we're teaching their team how to use the product.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And 5:1 high ratio is something which is really difficult to achieve for a niche role in India.
Especially it being out there in the market for so long, you can only imagine the number of pings and the pool of applications that will be there, and sifting through them and making sure. It's also, as you said earlier, right? It's resource waste.
Exactly.
And there's no success guarantee.
So if I talk about this role which the company was hiring for, what they used to do is they used to hire they used to hire software engineers and train them 6 months to become network engineers.
Training costs as well.
Training cost was there. This was the first time they were trying to find a network engineer, because that was very specific and tough task which they were trying to hire for. And 3.5 months, they were not able to close that.
So Spleen works really good for niche roles.
Niche roles, yes. And that's what we do on LinkedIn. So we go out and just comment on the people's post saying, if you have niche role, try out Spleen. If you have
That's your USP.
That's my USP, because I have very specific pool of candidates, and our search is built so well that you can find very specific people with very specific skill set.
Yeah, personalization, verticalization is the way to go in this market. So
exactly.
There's one question I have. Now that you have gone the venture route, you have raised for Spleen and have some good capital in the bank to go, there's this myth, or there's this strategy which usually said that every founder has an exit strategy to go out. Do you think that's true, or do you think that's necessary? Or
no? So not for me, because the space which I'm working in, first of all, it's really tough. It's really big, like $1 trillion market, more than $1 trillion market. You can actually build unicorns out of it, and we are trying to do that, and we'll do that. And if you are trying to build a unicorn, and in a market which is cash rich, where people are ready to spend to find the best people, why do you want to exit? You want to get into it, you want to solve for it, and make sure that you stay there at least till the time you become really big. And I don't care about future. I don't care about, in fact, 3 months from now. I care about the next month. I want to make sure my March is the most productive month till now. And exit and all I don't think in this market you want to do that. If your company is making 100 crores a year, why will you exit?
So you say that is industry specific, or how passionate someone is to solve what they're solving?
Yeah, I think it's all about, it's two things. Today, founders are also coming into or trying to pick up a problem just because they want to raise, right? And I've seen a lot of people doing that. But for me, it's very different. If I'm not passionate about the problem which I'm trying to solve, it's not even about raising. It's not even about solve. I'll just not want to solve it.
It doesn't excite you. You don't care about it.
Exactly. So right before Spleen, as I said, I was building Pagad, which was into HRTech. Then I shifted to B2B. Again, in the same space. I've been in the space for now 1.5, 2 years now. And I shifted it from FinTech to HR.
Right.
A lot of people will say, what a dumb move.
Yeah.
But I say it's all out of obsession for the industry problem statement which is there, which is so difficult.
Clearly, it's driven by passion, and also the TAM is just so huge and achievable is so huge.
Exactly.
This is a very important section for me in terms of takeaway for whoever is watching this.
Yeah.
So if there are a lot of people now who with the AI want to build something, prototype quick, launch quick, iterate quick, what is one suggestion or one advice you would give for any new founder who's just sitting on the brink of their idea and just thinking, should I build this or not?
What I generally when I talk to founders like me who is maybe struggling, I'm also struggling. But if I talk to other founders, one thing I tell them is, don't think a lot now. Just build it. You don't know what you have been building is going to crack on. Even if you're thinking for 1 month, rather than thinking, just build it and then try to use that product and get feedbacks out of it. Because anyways, if you're building even very deep level model today, the problem is not the product, it's the distribution. So every founder's only goal should be to write, to talk and create videos out of it. Distribution is your only mode. The product is anyways going to change in 3 months or 2 months. We started with B2C, got into B2B. Even in B2B, we have done, I think this is our 3rd pivot, in fact, 4th pivot in the product. And finally, we have got what we wanted. I guess I have got what we wanted.
You had to see that.
Yes. So the content is something which I'm going to say to every founders. Build as many videos, as many write-ups you can. Post it on LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter, Reddit, wherever you can find. Create accounts on every place and just do it.
Yeah, for a brand, it's as good as its founder and the team.
Yes.
So it's more about your vision that you want to achieve. The ways and means is always definable. In fact, even in product, we do that, right? Like, what is your why? How is something we can always figure out and bring in 100 things.
Correct.
So no bias to action, you would say.
I think just build whatever you can think of and sell it out. Who knows what's going to crack, what's going to be there for you next.
We as this generation also have this obsession of your idea has to be big.
It has to be perfect.
Complex.
It has to be perfect, big. And I want to spend time doing deep researches and then I want to build. And
perfect.
Problem with this generation, this is problem with the mindset of few of the founders out there. I've seen founders, I've had a conversation with a person who was building their 7th startup in the last 9 months. 7th product, I would say, not startup. 7th product in the last 9 months. And 2 of the products is doing really good. Like really good. And he's still not stopping.
Volume game.
It's a iteration game. Even if you're building one product, you don't have to build 10 products. Build one product, but iterate so much that you finally find your customers. And therefore, iteration, you need speed, you need good team, you need technology. And that's something which is out there today.
Makes total sense. I think it also sort of mirrors and concises your journey till now as well. So thank you so much, Akshat, for being with us today and had a lovely conversation.
Thank you. I also loved the conversation and looking forward to more such conversations in the future.
Yes, sure, definitely. And wish you the best for Spleen. I'm sure I'll be checking it out, what's coming, what's next. And I'm sure you have some big updates, big upgrades coming up. So all the best for that.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.